Yeah.
What happens when people study law for 5 years,
Hmm.
and they graduate,
Hmm.
and they have written all these 50 exams or like 30 exams, depends on which course you are doing, and you have scored marks and you've studied these thick books. Somehow there is this, pride of stuff that comes amongst lawyers when they graduate, and I think they are most proud at the moment when they've just graduated and had no interaction with the legal system yet, and they are like really proud at that point of time, that they think that the world is at their feet. And that's a very common thing. I did that mistake too, and I totally understand what you're saying.
Correct. I mean, that is like the first mistake I did. That's the first mistake everybody did. So that is what I'm trying to say, and at least the trend has to decrease somewhere. Where you should realize that there is lot more than the 50 exams you've written, probably the 10 moots you've done, or the cups you brought home from probably across the world. There's a lot more. The moment you step into a courtroom, irrespective of whether it is the Chief Justice of India's courtroom or a municipal courtroom in a small district, you will realize what actual litigation is all about. Anybody can tear you apart. I mean, it's just that uh, you cannot go and flaunt your moot knowledge in front of a judge. You just get torn apart in a matter of minutes. So that's the first mistake I did. Then I got torn apart. I actually had to go. I mean, they sent me to take an adjournment. My first day as a practicing lawyer. What happened was that the judge refused to give me an adjournment. I had to somehow beg as in not literally. So finally, the last thing I told him was that if you don't give me an adjournment, I'd probably get fired. This is the first day of my job. So he laughed at it and finally gave me an adjournment. So this intimidating incidents are what that make you a decent lawyer, if not a good lawyer. This, yeah, this is this happens a lot to a lot of freshers. So adding to that, it's also the fact that since I started my career in a district court in a tier 2 city, it is very important that you respect your colleagues in the fraternity, irrespective of how good they are or bad they are, what law school they went to, or I mean how their communication skills is. Everybody comes handy at some point in time. If not for them giving you work, it is at least, I mean, a lot of they'll at least end up encouraging you at some point in time or the other. um, for instance, I've stumbled so many times in the courtroom in Coimbatore. And then there were these people who came and rescued me. And initially, I was like, I had all the pride. I went from ILS, and Coimbatore Law College is not all that famous, at least not as famous as ILS is. So that it really doesn't work. Okay, you us respect not respecting people is something that won't work in our fraternity. And adding to that, it's also very important to do all kinds of work. For instance, if you like if you're given, let's say, to draft a mere memo of let's say an extension of an interim order, it's nothing is beneath your standards. You're just starting your career. So it's very important that you don't refuse any kind of work. And it's also very important that irrespective of what litigation it is, if it's even if it's rent control, even if you're someone from, like, let's say, the best law school in the country or the most expensive law school in the country, even if it's a small rent control matter, it is very important that we take it seriously. Because at the end of the day, as lawyers, our duty is to protect people who come, you know asking for help. So if these are some mistakes that I see a lot of people doing these days. Like, these are common mistakes that I'm noticing, and these are common mistakes that I have done myself. So moving on, Ramanuj,